Coach Show had told me about it at first. I was like, oh yeah, we got this little training program that I do. I didn't think much of it at first. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then cause I wasn't that good. I thought it was for kids that were oh, super excelling at this sport. And I was not doing that at first. So after I had jumped 6'3", I was like, oh, okay, I'm kind of good at this. So I was like, all right, cool. I want to, pursue this. And after state, I got hungry. I was like, man, I want more. I want more for me. I want to go to college for this. I want to do this in the future, long term. So I hit up Coach Show shortly after outdoor state last year and was like, hey, when can we get in the gym? When can we start working out? Anything, And that's really how I found out about the program and got started in it.
Well, my first thought was, who's Coach Show? And how'd you even hear about this? We just really dove into it. I don't know if there was much of too much thought process in it. But I mean, it was something that he wanted to do, working with his coach to further and get better. To be honest, I didn't even know that there was an AAU field for track and field. We were always, in basketball, in a basketball family. So it was all new to me and I was excited to see something of that aspect, I think. So financially it was feasible to do as well. So yeah, we just gave it a shot.
So I kind of decided because I was just all right at basketball. I'm not gonna lie. I was just all right. I wasn't spectacular. I wasn't crazy. I was just very athletic. I could just jump really high. I'm kind of good at this, so I'm gonna come over here and see how this treats me for now. So that was really when I made my decision to switch to primarily track, but I don't think I was doing them at the same time.
It kind of overlapped a little bit. So he missed the beginning of indoor season. Yeah, okay. So he just started track for the first time his junior year. So he's very new to it, I would say, still. So he did miss the beginning of the indoor season for junior year and became passionate about it. And I think as a parent that he was more passionate about track than he was basketball. And it showed. He definitely was more excited about something that he was actually good at individually instead of basketball where you're as a whole team and some outperform others as a team and then you kind of lose that shine. And I think that he enjoyed starting to develop and get better at track and field and was oh, I can go somewhere with this. So I think that was a huge decision, right? Yeah. Because at first as a parent, I was you're going to choose track and field? Because I didn't know anything about it. So that helped with his decision. Knowing that he was good at something or he could be really good at something and develop and just kind of be a star or shine on his own and get better, I think that helped make the decision of, choosing track and field. I wasn't happy at first because, again, I didn't know much about track and field. I was one of those parents that was confused, why everyone was so, yelling and cheering and clapping. I'm they're just running. What are calm down. But then I learned as a track parent and supporter that it's more than they're just running because they're athletic all around and they're putting a lot more into it than some other kids do, I think, in other sports. And it could be harder on their bodies. So I wasn't happy at first with the transition, but then I was afterwards because I just like to see him win and perform and get better as a whole. So I enjoy it. I do like it better. So the transition was good.
Coming to club was way different. It was oh, I was doing so much more training. My body was hurting so much. I feel putting in all that work helped tremendously, especially technique work and just me being a faster and stronger athlete from where I started, way faster and way stronger than I was from before I joined ATA. So yeah, I'm happy with the progression.
With track and field at school, he has basically, there's 80 plus kids. Yeah. How many? 80 plus kids. How many coaches?
4 or 5.
4 coaches. So you're spread very thin, and you don't get the time to work on each player individually as you can in the ATA program where they're developed individually, with their skill or craft versus, 4 coaches jumping back and forth on the field to make sure that they're trying to be there for everyone. So I think joining ATA was the decision of working on his individual craft and skill.
The program has helped a lot in that way because Coach Show does not let us he does not let us slack on our work in school. He's always making sure that our work is done and turned in on time, making sure that we're, he's giving us grade checks every semester, making sure that we're good. He really cares about our academics before our athletics, but also the one-on-one intimacy, training is way better because at school, it's jumbled up, everybody's everywhere. I don't really get time to work on form or technique and talk to somebody who knows what's going on and knows what I'm supposed to be doing and fixing, but here it's different. It's way easier. I feel like I can go to Coach Show and be like, oh, well, what's wrong with this? How many, does my steps need to be down faster? Do I need to be quicker on the turn? My technique over the bar look good? He can help me fix those minor problems in my technique and my jumps and everything. It helps a lot being here, having him one-on-one.
I think just all around as a first and foremost student, that's why we call them student athletes. As a student, he's done better to make sure, because any sport comes with, if you're not a student first, then you don't get to perform in whatever skill set it is. If your grades aren't up to par, like Jaiden was saying, grade checks, pushing them, college readiness classes that ATA does, just preparing them for the future. Jaiden's just changed, and I tell him he's grown. It's more of a family atmosphere. And it's good for Jaiden specifically because he needs that. And it's almost I don't want to use the word brotherhood because there are female athletes as well. But in that aspect with his specific teammates, absolutely. So it just makes him a better person all around, I think. Cleaning, wanting to keep his room clean, like we were just saying, wanting to help with more things. I think Show just pushes them to be better young men. Just period. I think it shows that he just really cares for the boys, what's in their best interest as a person, and will be honest with them as of a parent would, or a brother, or somebody that's that close to you. And I think that it shows in the aspect of he wants to make sure that everyone has the same growth, but also the same even outside. So I'm sure I don't know this specifically, but I'm sure just from seeing the character, that if there was a kid that, maybe they didn't have the shoes that they needed, or they, couldn't pay their fee to get their uniform, or any type of thing, I think that he would make sure that's taken care of and that nobody knows any different. I think that all kids should be treated the same, as far as fairly, and then just struggles in life. I think that's a huge part of life where I think people are kind of embarrassed and they don't show up for a lot of things because they don't have what they need. So they just don't show up. So I think that it's important that providing those aspects for the kids, and not just giving it to them, but making them work hard for it. So we are a very close-knit family as far as how my family is and how we were raised. So I think that the family atmosphere is very important. It gives Jaiden a father figure. It helps him learn to grow, and not only just learn as an athlete, but teaching him to be a young man in that aspect. Some things that maybe I can't teach him or show him. So I love that. I was if I keep going, I'm gonna cry. I think it's good for Jaiden because Jaiden needs that father figure in his life, and Show gives him that. Whether he, knows that or not, he has always been somebody that Jaiden looks up to, that he appreciates, he respects. He talks about him more than he probably knows, specifically at home. So he gives him somebody to want to aspire to be like, I guess, when he gets older. And he needs that in his life, so.
I don't think there's a specific moment. Probably after I started training and you were you start talking to me and telling me that I have what it takes to, perform at the next level, collegiately. I have like the skill and the ambition and like the drive to, you know, compete at the next level and do something at the next level. So I thought like, oh, I can also do something with my career path there as well. So this like my sport can help my career as well.
That was the answer Jaiden gave me, that basically like what made him decide to go to college was Coach Show believed in me and told me that I could. He told me that I could perform, you know, on an athletic collegiate level and then also go to four-year college. Like that specific was his reason for that. He's like, Coach Show believed in me and told me I could. And I would say that that's the moment that he probably, you know, decided, or that was his deciding point, was him saying, because I've told him, you know, many times we've talked about college, and that didn't change his mind, but his answer is that Coach Show believed in me and told me that he could. That's the moment that he said, that's what we talked about on, you know, in the car today, actually, that Coach Show told me I could. In my family, no. Jaiden will be the first. Yeah. Jaiden will be the first. I mean, a few of my, like a sibling or so, like had started maybe, but didn't finish. And it was more of like like Ivy Tech or something. So as far as like graduating and going to college, he will be the first. I just want to see him succeed. I told him that I support any decision that he makes. When he wanted to go to trade school, and that was like not 4-year, I supported that. You just have to do something, is what I told him. So I just want to see him succeed and do what also makes him happy at the same time. I just want to see the kid win. That's it. As a mom, I'm always rooting for him.
Amazing. It's great. It's been great. Like I love the family and the community that we built a lot. Like I love all my teammates. I do anything for them. Love my coach. I love Coach Show. You know.
I'll take over. I the experience, I think, with ATA, Jaiden and I talk about it all the time. It's been wonderful. He's got to travel, go different places he's never been. He went to the Junior Olympics. He did, you know, closer places, Chicago, Louisville, if I said that correctly. Just traveling, building, bonding experience. We love that part. Him and I talked about it in the car, that it's the family that we never knew we needed. He's built a lot of close relationships with kids that he probably would have never crossed paths with before. And that's one of the biggest things, that he'll have that relationship and bond for life with just kind of like his team, family, his coach. The experience has been eventful sometimes, I guess, is the I have got to meet other kids that I care like tremendously for as well, not just my own athlete. I look at all of them as my track babies. I tell them that all the time. So yeah, it's been a good experience.
Right now, I'm still deciding. You know, I'm probably gonna wait until after outdoor state, and that's probably when I'm gonna make my decision. So it's coming up sooner than later. I don't know. I'm just nervous about being in a bigger school and having to, you know, like take care of myself. You know, like just me, instead of having, you know, my mom here. She's lovely. Love having her around. She helps a lot with stuff. So. I have one option right now. I have a scholarship from Marian University, full tuition for the first year. I think after the first year is based on academics and performance. So that's my only option right now, but I'm waiting for more, you know.
On paper, yeah. It's been a conversation in the Dresselhaus household for the past week, right?
Yeah.
When are you gonna make a decision? I think the goal is to get school paid for. You know, we go to college for a degree. So not being in debt for the rest of your life is kind of the goal, I think. And still performing athletically and having fun and getting to continue doing that. So I'm just trying to figure out, what are you waiting for? You know, if somebody wants to pay for school at 100%, almost like, what are we waiting for? But I think that he's just wanting to wait to see if anything else happens, I guess, or any other interest, which makes sense. And he doesn't have a deadline, but,